Hey everyone, I just wanted to take a minute before we get started to thank you all so much for watching our video, liking it, subscribing to our channel, sharing on Facebook, dropping some comments, following us on Instagram. It was so exciting to get such positive feedback and a little unexpected, to be honest. So that was really cool. Thank you so much. If you're following us on Instagram, you know that the biggest thing to happen this week was that we found and rescued a baby barn swallow that fell out of her nest in the barn. Here's a brief recap. While taking out the trash, I somehow noticed this tiny little thing in the grass. I went over to investigate because lone baby birds are not uncommon around here. Fledglings always leave the nest, and usually it's best to just let them be. This little one, however, was in bad shape. She was barely moving, barely breathing, and covered in ants. So I noticed that she was in that nestling, not quite a fledgling stage of life. So I knew she definitely belonged in her nest, and I looked all through here, but I couldn't find her nest. So I didn't know what to do. It's really hard to know in these circumstances what the best thing, because usually human intervention is not necessary. But I could tell she had been here for a while because the bugs were swarming her and she was in really bad shape. We had a storm coming. I knew she wouldn't survive the night. We have a ton of predators. There are mason bees everywhere. How cool. And so I decided to scoop her up and try to help. I scooped her into a little Tupperware, borrowed a baby medicine syringe from a neighbor, grabbed the chicken electrolytes and vitamins, and a few mealworms. Once I got her a little warmer, she started opening her mouth and chirping, so I was able to slowly administer some electrolyte water and feed her. She was very hungry. After about an hour and a half, she started moving a bit more, and an hour after that, she was even stronger. Since she was getting stronger, Christopher and I knew that the best place for her really is in her nest overnight as opposed to with us. So Chris came out here with a flashlight, and I have no idea how he found her nest, but he took a flashlight way up into the eaves, and he just so happened to pass his flashlight over the nest as the other baby bird was poking its head out. So we found the nest. The next step was to get out the extension ladder and plop her back in with her sibling. Chris climbed up, baby bird carefully in hand, and placed her back home. A happy ending. Our permanent resident birds got to live with us and nest inside for 8 weeks. So with a new batch of chicks and 5 ducklings arriving around the 29th, the 30th of June, we thought today would be a great time to talk to you about our chickens, how we raised them, how we got them, and how we take care of them now. When we got our chicks, we were actually still living in our house in Champaign. And so what I did was I researched the breeds that I wanted, and I ordered them online from Meyer Hatchery. They're based in Ohio. So I ordered the breeds, and then they arrived, and we had them for about a month in our house in Champaign. And naturally, I don't have a picture of what their brooder looked like before we got them. But basically what we did was we bought a stock tank, and we bought pine shavings, a waterer, a feeder, a heat lamp, and we also bought medicated feed. It's kind of split between homesteaders if you want to feed medicated or non-medicated feed. We opted for medicated because the medicated feed contains amprolium, which is a medication that helps prevent against coccidiosis. I said that right, coccidiosis, which is a bacterial infection that can be fatal to chicks. So we opted for medicated feed. We had all our supplies. All we had to do was wait. The chicks hatched on March 14th, and then they arrived on March 15th. I got a call from the post office at 8 a.m. and I had just finished working, and they call and they say, hey, your chicks are here. So Christopher and I got dressed, we threw ourselves and Augie in the car and we went over to the post office. When putting them in the brooder, the first thing you want to do is dip their beaks in water so that they learn where their water is. We got them into their brooder and fed them their vitamin mix the hatchery sends and let them settle in. Over the next few days and weeks, they did a great job eating and pooping and did a great job with being held. It's important to handle them often so that as they grow up, they are comfortable being held so I can perform health checks on them. We were especially good about handling Cap, the one we thought was a rooster. While we don't have a rooster, we have an exceptionally cuddly chicken. Soon after they arrived, we noticed that they continuously got pine shavings in their food and water. So I did some perusing on homesteading blogs, and we decided to have them on paper towels for the first 2 weeks. We laid down layers of paper towels over the pine shavings, changing them twice a day. After about 2 weeks, we went back to pine shavings and also made a little platform for their feeders. We're going to try something a little different for the first 2 or 3 weeks with this new batch of babies, but I'll talk about that in another video. We were really lucky and had no health issues. At about 3.5 weeks, they were able to start going outside for short field trips. We set up a little pen at both the Champagne house and then out at the farm, and I would sit there with them while they explored and ate their first bugs. The coop arrived in mid-April. It's a shed that's been customized with ventilation windows, a roost, and nesting boxes. All the ventilation windows have attached hardware cloth, and we put hardware cloth along the bottom of the coop as well. This really helps us ensure that nothing is getting in. When they were 8 weeks old, it was finally warm enough outside. The weather had cooperated. It was time to move into their big girl coop. And that was very hard. That first night was really rough on Mama Hen, let me tell you. But they did such a good job. They love it in here. They love to hang out. And honestly, just pretty proud of them. So I think it's time that we met the ladies. They are all named after strong women in history or in literature, and they have all so far lived up to their namesakes. This is Lulu, or Lucrezia Borgia. She is such a little princess, let me tell you. When she was a baby, she would escape all of her enclosures to come hang out with me. She's an Osterwhite. She's technically of laying age, so we will see if she gives us any eggs soon. We are on egg watch. So this is Eowyn. She does not want to be held. She fears the cage above all else. If you know Lord of the Rings, you know that that is Eowyn. She does not want to be caged, does not want to be held, and that's pretty much our little Eowyn. She was one of the first to fly. Well, actually, she was one of the first to try to fly, but it took her a while to find her wings. And she really loves tomatoes and garlic and strawberries. You guys know Cap from our last video. She's now named for Captain Marvel, not Captain America. But we raised her thinking that she was gonna be a rooster. So we were especially careful to hold and snuggle her and handle her. So now she's just a very, very sweet and snuggly chicken. I think she sometimes wishes she lived in a house with us. Now this is Amelia Earhart. She's a Welsummer just like Eowyn. Now Amelia was actually the first one to fly. We weren't sure on her name, but we found her in the hallway one day and we knew that she was Amelia. Amelia's a very sweet chicken. She likes to kind of graze on her own and then she likes to join the group. But she is very sweet and we like her very much. All right, this is a very unflattering angle for me, but this is the way Grace wants to be held. This is Grace O'Malley, our pirate queen. She's named after a very formidable, oh, the girls are coming, formidable pirate queen. She is actually a green queen, which is a breed from Meyer Hatchery. She'll lay some green eggs. Grace is such a little diva. She's always been really talkative. She's always been the chatty one, and she's very special to me. This is Marie Curie. She's a Dominique. She is a very, very sweet chicken. She was actually the smallest one of our bunch, and we were a little bit worried about her size, but she's come on very nicely. She'll do just about anything for a mealworm or a strawberry. This is Hen Boleyn. She's named after Anne Boleyn, my favorite queen. This is another green queen, just like Grace O'Malley. Hen is very independent. She's like our little goblin. Her favorite thing to do is to lay in the grass, preferably under my car, and eat. She loves running. She's a hilarious runner, and I can't wait to show video of that if I can ever get it on tape. Hey! Hey! This is Thatcher. She's a Dominique, just like Marie. Thatcher really prefers not to be handled. She is perfectly sweet, but she would rather do her own thing. She'll tolerate her med checks, but she'd rather you not. She's named after Laurel Thatcher Ulrich, who coined the phrase, "well-behaved women seldom make history." And that held up in the brooder. She was responsible for most of the shenanigans in there. Okay, Thatcher, you can go. So at about 8:30 or 9 a.m. every morning, we let them out of their coop and we give them some free-ranging time. They get about 4 to 5 hours of free-ranging a day. If we ever can't be popping in and out on them and have them be pretty supervised, we leave them either in their tractor or we give them some time in their run where they can go in and out of their coop. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments and I will do my best to answer. If you can, please give us a like and a subscribe. That really helps us out. And if you would, please follow us on Instagram at The Little Farm at Weldon Springs. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.